So adding a BMP will be our next module. To start this one, we're going to go back to the home page. And so we can get to adding a BMP a number of different ways. We can either be on the Find a BMP page, and we're trying to find a BMP, we're zooming in, we're like, gosh, I don't see it. Now, right here, you can go ahead and click Add a BMP, and it'll take you to the Add a BMP dialog. The other way to get to adding a BMP is to just click the Add a BMP button from the home page. So the Add a BMP button here is going to take you to the same dialog. The only things you absolutely have to define when you're setting up a BMP is what's its name, what's its type, what's its jurisdiction, and then where is it located. Obviously, the more information we collect about these BMPs, the better off we're going to be looking backwards. But in order to get something in the system, that's all you need to define. So we're going to go ahead and add one, and I'm going to use the current location to pinpoint us. That looks like it's right in the middle of City Hall, so it did a good job. I'm going to go ahead and move it over here to the parking lot a little bit. So once you're zoomed in, this will give you a pretty good resolution. This map gives you a chance to switch between the street view, the terrain view, and the aerial view. So, that kind of ended up in the field up there. So we're going to go ahead and put it right here in the median of this parking. And drop it right there. All right, so we've got the location. Now we're going to give it a name, test, LN, parking. And what kind of BMP do you guys want to put out there? All right, we'll put a bioretention with underdrain out there in the parking. Now this is going to be when you're using this and you're assigned to a given jurisdiction, you're not going to have a lot of options. You're going to just be able to assign to your jurisdiction. I'm an administrator, so I'm going to see the whole list here, and so that's a different experience that you'll see. So if it's owned by the same as the jurisdiction, don't worry about entering anything here. If it's owned by a private developer, for example, but it's within the City of Laguna Niguel jurisdiction, then you would enter that separately. And right now, there's a number of different owners defined. We also have two private options, so private unspecified. So this is just if it's private, it's not someone found on this list, or if it's private and it's part of a WQMP, enter that. And then when you're associating it with the WQMP, then that will create the whole linkage of this is associated with the WQMP and this WQMP has this owner. So at this point, I'm just going to leave it as same as the BMP jurisdiction. We'll say Laguna Niguel owns this and it was built in 2018. No.
Aaron, could you override it and type in like the name of the...
All right, and then if this was part of a WQMP and you had set up that WQMP, which I'll show you how to do later, you could go ahead and pick the WQMP from this list, and this is again searchable. So if you end up with a 400 WQMP list in your jurisdiction, you'll be able to type in some keywords to find the one you want. So this is a public BMP. It doesn't have a WQMP, so we're going to leave that as is, and then we can add any notes that we want to say that this is a demo, and go ahead and save. So that is basically going to set up our record. And if you're using it in this way, through this interface, then to populate the record, you'll be going to each one of these panes individually. So you'll be going to the images pane and have a chance to browse and upload pictures associated with that BMP. You will be going to the design attributes page and have a chance to enter information about the design attributes. So looking at this, you can see that some of these are multiple choice. We're trying to fix the options so that we get standardized input. And a variety of all these parameters can get entered. You'll note that even though they're considered to be required, there's a little lightning bolt on them that indicates that they're required. They're required for the record to be considered complete. They're not required for you in order to save the record. So we want you to be able to save whatever you have, only enter what you're sure of, so that we don't have a bunch of placeholders in here that we have to cross-navigate with ones that we're really sure. So if you don't have the information handy, just don't enter the data. It won't prevent you from saving the record. Similarly with the modeling and performance attributes and and then similarly with funding events and documents. So the basic pattern of use is just hit the little plus sign here, and it'll let you upload a document and associate it with the BMP. Hit the plus here, and it will start a field visit workflow. Hit the plus sign here, and it will let you add a funding event, for example. So that is the basics of adding a BMP. And many of you, this basic information may be pre-populated via a bulk upload. They'll already be out there placed before you start. Other times you will be starting from scratch and told to go out and find the BMPs, drop a dot where they are, and give them a name and build them into the inventory. But that's the basics of adding a BMP.